Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining once again. This is Logos Dev Club. A very special guest today. We'll be doing some live coding. They will be doing some live coding. I will be doing the bloviating. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here early. Please use the chat if you want. Wherever you are watching from, the chat works. We can see it. If you have questions or feedback, please follow and subscribe and turn notifications on. As you will ascertain shortly, there is a lot going on. If you've been paying any attention at all, there's a lot going on with Logos, and there will continue. And it will continue. GM to everyone. Like, subscribe, follow. Thank you. A few things of note that you should know as we start. The Logos Builders Hub is at build.logos.co. You can see it so beautifully scrolling across the bottom of your screen from right to left. That is your technical grand central station. All the resources and tools and things you need to get started, learn more, get going, can be found at the Builders Hub, build.logos.co. Among them being two primary things. Download Logos Basecamp. That is the Logos native application. That is the application that our guest will be hacking on today, live coding as it were. The other is to run a Logos node from the command line. You can do that, claim testnet faucet tokens. If you already did that, you received millions of tokens in the extra distribution that you already knew about because you watched the stream earlier this week where David and the blockchain team came along and did it live, distributed live right here. So catch things like that and so much more here on Logos Dev Club. Lambda prizes can also be found at the Builders Hub. There are a number of them that are live right now. Each Lambda prize has the specifications, the motivation, success criteria, the scope, eligibility, submission requirements, the evaluation process, and the resources you need to get started, along with the prize amount. Each Lambda prize has a corresponding GitHub issue. That is what you need to get started. Find all of the Lambda prizes at the Builder Hub. Just as build.logos.co is your grand central station for all things technical, press.logos.co for all things content is your destination. That is where you can find all of the Logos blogs, articles, links to all the community resources, podcasts, the book Farewell to Westphalia, co-authored by Logos co-founder Jared Hope and Peter Ludlow. The events calendar that has every thing that you can attend, every event, every stream, every XSpace, everything that you can do is on the calendar. And we are live virtually every day of the week. So keep up with what's happening at the calendar and everything else at press.logos.co. Every Friday are Logos office hours. They will be every Friday moving forward until further notified. You should use and take advantage of these sessions for direct conversations with Logos core contributors, technical core contributors. If you have a roadblock, need assistance, need clarity, or otherwise need more information, those sessions are for you. Find the link to each session every Friday on the calendar. That is at press.logos.co. your content, Grand Central Station. All right, folks, you can find our guest today fending his family from poisonous snakes and spiders deep in the outback. He is the fearless ecosystem engineering lead, Franck Reuer. Thank you for joining Logos Dev Club today.
Aaron, thanks for having me.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to have you. Excited to get into what you have in store for us. Just briefly, for those that may not have met you, quick background, how you contribute to Logos, your history with Logos, and where people can find you on Twitter.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. I've been working in this org, now named Logos, but I some names around, some name changes over time since 2021. So 5 years now. I started as a creator of GS Waku, which was a JavaScript browser implementation of Waku, which is a delivery, chat, messaging protocol, now called Logos Delivery for the routing part and message passing. We have Logos Chat on top of that for the end-to-end encryption. Led the Waku team actually after that for a bit, and now I am part of the EcoDev team. I'm leading the engineering and docs effort. To ensure that whatever we produce in Logos in terms of the R&D, we do a lot of research in this organization and produce a lot of artifacts, and trying to ensure that we get that in the hands of developers and users and node operators. So we look after the docs, but we also build sample apps and some developer toolkit and tooling that don't really fall in the scope of the protocols, but are here to make life easier. And we'll be talking about all of that during our live stream actually today.
Perfect. Well, let's get into it. The plan is to live code, if I understand correctly, for the native Logos application, Logos Basecamp. What do you have planned for us?
Yeah, so we are in a stage where we have documentation to build applications and modules in Logos Basecamp that use some of the other modules. So, which are, and today we are going to use the delivery module, which is for peer-to-peer messaging or message passing. We're going to try to build Battleship game, turn-by-turn multiplayer game. And the idea here, so it's still a bit rough, right? So we have documentation and we're still refining the documentation. And we do have some little hacks and hiccups to go around with the delivery module. So we talk about that. But we are going to start from scratch, right? So I don't have anything prepared because I just wanted to go through the flow that the developers that want to be today on Logos would. And we're going to talk all about that and the different assets we have in place. And hopefully by the end of the stream, we'll have a multiplayer game, fingers crossed. I have done a tic-tac-toe multiplayer game that works. So I'm hoping that we can, hopefully use that. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, then without further ado, let's get into it. Let's bring your battle station online here. And I will take this away. Let's see how that looks. I'll give you a moment. So folks, Frank is going to be building an application for Logos Basecamp, the native Logos ecosystem app. You can find it at build.logos.co, and all of the resources and things that Frank will be getting into. I'll fix the view here. Boom. All of the resources and things that Frank will be getting into are at build.logos.co, as you can see so beautifully scrolling across the bottom of your screen. So you should go there and bookmark it. Well, Frank, the stage is yours. I'll be piping in with questions and queries.
Awesome. Okay, so actually, I just wanted to let's quickly show you when we say Basecamp, how does it look like? So I just want to show you quickly how Basecamp looks like. So this is the app here. I will also drop links in the chat on a regular basis. So here is where you can get Basecamp. I have the chat open, the live open here, so I can drop it here. Here we go. So you can go in there. You can go and click the release button. Oh, can't see it with the. There you go. There you go. There you go. Here is the release button. Click on that, and you can download an app image for Linux and I think a DMG for Mac. So you can get that, and so that's the app we are going to work with. This is the latest release, which was done back in March. I know there is another release coming up very soon. I thought it was going to come on this week. Let's see what. So probably next week then, because it's not released yet. And so Basecamp, you have some buttons. What's interesting here is this cubic button at the bottom here, where you can see the UI modules or the apps you have available. And you have also some core modules, and we're going to go back to that as we build our app. And then there's this cube button here as well, which allows you to install applications. So you can come in here and you can look at and play with the chat application and install the chat SDK UI. Click install, etc. So that's the app. Please play with it, have fun with it, and report any bugs you encounter, and play with that. So for now, I'm going to close it. I'm going to go through the tutorial. So a few things, right? So the official Logos documentation is available in the GitHub repo. For now, we just have a GitHub repo, but we are going to work very soon having a nice website for it. And so we have the docs here, and you can jump into different parts, and you can see as well in the pull request what we're working on. And if I'm correct, here we can see this pull request here. That's the one where we're integrating the documentation in there. So we're refining it, having a tech writer, making it look nice, and so it's being worked on. For now, I'm not going to use that just yet because it's still in progress. So I'm going to go directly to the Logos tutorial. So that's the documentation made directly by the Logos core developers. So that's kind of the developer documentation made directly by the developer. And the idea is that once we have developer documentation, we have a tech writer coming in and make it a nice doc. So I'm not going to work on the nice doc just yet. And you can see, so what I'm going to do though is that I'm going to use the stable version of that, which is this tutorial v1 tag, which counts the stable version. I could use the latest version, but it might not be as stable. So I'm just going to look at the repo from the stable version, and I think there's a button somewhere to view the repo. Here. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So that's the tag. I can jump in there. There we go. So I'm going to use that as a basis to do the app, and you can see here we have 3 parts. 1 is wrapping a C library, 2 is building QML UI, and 3 is building a C++ UI module. So I'm going to go, and we're going to try to build. So the C++ UI module is something that, well, not too much. It's dropped actually from the latest documentation because we want people to use QML. So what is QML? QML is a native UI framework that we use. And actually, if you just jump into the UI, I can show you how it looks like. So you have QML file. So you can see it's very similar to kind of a CSS. Like it looks like CSS basically, right? Here. And then you have some functions. You can have like JavaScript, right? So we don't use the browser, right? We don't use HTML and JavaScript. We don't use the browser. Why? Because the browser infrastructure relies on too many centralized points. Whether you talk about DNS, to resolve, go to a website and you type the URL, then you resolve to a centralized DNS that can be blocked, that can be spoofed, that can be taken away. And then you go to a centralized web server to get your HTML, JavaScript in the browser, downloading this code, and then being rendered by the browser. And so you have just too many central points of control when you use the web and when you use a browser. And this not only is a problem for censorship, right? Because an entity can take down a web server or take down a domain name to be able to stop you to use whatever you want to use. It's also a problem with privacy. There's just too many points. The attack surface is just too large, right? There's too many points where you can leak metadata and basically have privacy concern issues. So we moved away from the browser stack. We moved away from Web3, right, into the Logos stack, where we are doing everything locally first and not natively. So that's why we have the QML framework. Basecamp is mainly C++ and QML and Qt.
I would argue that this is more the actual Web3, the true the definition of Web3, rather than the fake Web3 format of the browser.
Yeah, so it's still web because you see this internet technology. Well, I don't think it's web actually, because what is web? That's a good question. Probably relies on HTTP technology and things like that. But it is definitely closer to the original intent, right? The original intent of having sovereign technology. Most Web3 today are not sovereign because you depend on a remote web server being run by someone, a remote RPC, Web3 RPC infrastructure and interface being run by someone else, remote DNS also being run by someone else, and all these points where you trust someone else to run the infrastructure and also trust that it will always be online. A question in the chat right now. I can jump in. So QML is it's a markup language. It's very similar to HTML, and you can use C++ in QML, or to have the function like JavaScript, and that's what you're going to use for the UI. QML and Qt have been here for decades, right? It's very it's a known language, very popular. It's nothing fancy per se. It's not as popular, of course, as HTML and JavaScript, but in terms of vibe coding, it works perfectly fine, right? In terms of the logic, so the other thing we are going to work on today is having, like here, wrapping a C library. So you have the app and to be the QML module, right, which gives you the UI. And you can have then your backend logic into a core module, which is just a compile library. So it means that this compile library can be written. So I'm going to do it in C++ today, I think. Let's do that. But you can do it in Rust, right? You can do it in any language as long as you can produce a library, .iso, shared object, and expose an FFI API, so C API, right? C API being kind of the normal native language interfacing, right? So your core logic can be done in any language, and then you just need to wrap it up into a module. And we have wrappers for that and things like that. So here we're wrapping C library because it's just the most native and simple way of doing it. But you can, in the Rust, you can definitely write Rust libraries. And then you have ways in Rust to say, okay, I'm going to expose this specific function on the C API in Rust. You can do that in Rust already. And then you can compile your Rust library and wrap it into a module. Not going to do that today, but it can definitely be something for next time. And then you can have your program. So today we are not going to do smart contracts, but if you were to do a smart contract, you can run it in Rust. So you write the smart contract in Rust to be deployed on the RISC-0 machine, virtual machine for RISC-0 for LEZ. But then this program goes on LEZ, right? And then you can interact with LEZ using a module and have a component. Let's keep it simple for now. We're going to do UI and the module, and this module is going to use the delivery module to interact with multiplayer. Aaron, I think it'll be a good time to show your diagram. I think you had a diagram you wanted to show.
Yes.
Actually, because as I'm rising, I'm going down to the rabbit hole here. Maybe easier if you can share that.
Yeah, this is hot off the press, folks. So you're getting a very special sneak preview of something that will be available soon for you to peruse at press.logos.co and everywhere else. But this is
Yeah, if you
an
click on
overview.
the Dex Trader.
Dex Trader?
Yeah, go for it.
Where are you? Where are you? There you are. Boom.
Yeah, so yes, just to kind of like reframe my answer earlier. So the Dex UI here will be QML, right? So it will be a QML module, a UI module, QML app in Basecamp. Then the app backend will be a C++ or Rust module, right? Just a library, a native library that you run locally. And then this will interact with the LEZ module, which itself interacts with the blockchain. And then as a program deployed on LEZ can be written in Rust and compiled in bytecode for risk 0. All right, so we have, it is a complex architecture, but there is distinct components, right? So Dex UI will be QML plus a bit of C++, then the app backend, any native language, and as long as you expose a C API or FFI are the words used usually for that, FFI API or C API, just a library, right? And then you have existing modules that we provide for LEZ and for blockchain, right?
If I can basically understand it, anyone can understand it. Yeah, this is I really love this thing. I've only excuse me, I've only been able to play with it for a few hours today, but it makes it quite clear. What's quite clear with so many intersecting lines. Okay, we're back.
Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so today I'm going to use Claude Code for development. I'm using these agent skills that I quite like, which allows you to produce some good software. So I quite like this one, so I'm sharing that. And I'm going to take some risk and play with a recent change I've done on Scaffold. So here's a PR. So Scaffold is one of our dev toolkit. Right now, Scaffold is mostly useful for blockchain development, for LEZ program development. But I just added a feature here, which is to run and load modules and start Basecamp automatically with different profile. So you basically start 2 Basecamp app, Alice and Bob, and each app has their own profile, which is very practical when you want to try peer-to-peer multiplayer kind of applications, right? Because in our case, we want to have 2 apps running, and that's what this new feature does. I've shared the link in the chat. So let's just start with Scaffold. I'm just going to install Logos Scaffold from this. So I have already checkout for it here. You can see the feature base. But if you have to do that, you just need to clone the repo and then grab the feature Basecamp branch. And then you can run the cargo command, cargo install force to be sure I have the right scaffold installed, because I'm doing various development on this one. So that's scaffold tool. Done. And what I'm going to do as well, I'm going to ensure I have the Logos tutorial available. Yeah, so it's already available locally with the right tag, which is tutorial v1. So I'm going to be able to tell to Claude, okay, use those. And then I'm going to jump into Claude, into my new repo, which is Logos Battleship, where I have nothing. I'm going to start from there. Okay. So opening Claude. There you go. I'm using Opus 4.7 and high effort. So what we do is with our skills, we have an idea refine skill, which is the first skill. I'm going to say I want to build a Battleship multiplayer game. Game is going to use Logos Stack for peer-to-peer playing. We are going to use the tutorial to use the guide. Just pointing to the path here. Logos tutorial to build it. And something else I wanted to mention as well is that I have done a multiplayer tic-tac-toe app already, which is available here. So I'm going to drop that in the chat as well. And so I'm going to mention to Claude, there is some deviation from the tutorial. Use every module for message routing. You can copy this for deviation. Let me just point to my local folder. For those deviation. Okay. And then generally, we want to follow the Logos tutorial. Okay.
Where were you? What chat are you dropping those links in?
Oh, in the YouTube.
Oh, okay. I don't see them showing up.
But... Wait, I don't see them anymore. That's interesting. If you open the YouTube page, you can see them.
Okay, all good. We'll add all of the links, and they should be in the description already. The Builder Hub and whatnot, but all of the links referenced will be in the description after the stream concludes.
Okay. Oh. Am I logged in? Or am I logged out?
Oh no.
Did I get kicked out from my well, that's
Hope there was nothing bad in that URL.
Ah. Claude is expansion and description apparently. Okay, well, we don't have Claude for vibe coding today. Worst nightmare. Oh no, I need to code myself. Okay.
Holy moly. Logo scaffold in it.
No. Okay. I haven't done much QML by myself, so it's going to be hard for me to do the QML part without the AI. So the rest I could manage, but like the... Okay. So we have a backup plan. Let's try with open code. Let me... Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Claude's being a bad boy.
Yeah, Claude is little outage. So I have another subscription with Venice AI.
Well, this is why these things are fun. Folks, thank you for watching.
Yeah,
Use the chat. If you have any questions, let us know. If you do not yet, please subscribe and turn notifications on wherever you are watching, as the movement and action and momentum is moving fast. The best way to keep up is turn notifications on.
Okay, very sorry for that chat.
We're going to make it.
Okay, so I wonder actually if it's working. Okay. All right, just one sec, chat. I see if I can.
While things are being worked out, upcoming streams tomorrow, the Logos Community X Space. You can join live and take part in the conversation. It is on X. It is hosted by Sterling. And I'm usually there. I'm always there. We also stream those, so if you're watching on YouTube or whatever, you can see Sterling and me and whoever else decides to join us in the studio. Also tomorrow, Alisher and Václav join the Logos Dev Club. Václav will be going deep on Logos blockchain. Alisher has built like 71 apps and modules with his various agents, and he will be demoing them and presenting tomorrow. Friday, our Logos office hours. You can find the calendar at press.logos.co. Find the link to the office hours sessions. Looks like something is happening.
Yeah, so I have a Venice AI subscription as well. Very cool. Strongly suggest to check out Venice AI. It's a more privacy-friendly provider, and they do have a Pro Plus subscription, which I think is a good middle ground. So,
can you make that window a little bigger?
Yeah, let's try that. And let's install the skill in open code. Okay. Let's see if this works. Yes. Okay, zero plus. Open project in open code and show the following file present in workspace. Agent MD skills. Just trying to get these keys. Okay. Looks like it's working. All right, just allowing to use the skills. Okay, it's finding the skills. So idea refine. So you start with idea refine. Then you some spec and some coding. Okay, so I went for the hiccup, but I think we are able to solve that within 5 minutes. That's good. Okay,
We're back at it.
Yeah, I can see on the side that Claude is still down. Okay, so using idea refine skill, we want to build a multiplayer P2P Battleship game.
You can make it just a little bigger so the folks at home can read the text there. That's perfect.
I go here, I can actually...
I'll have to move our beautiful faces out of the way. There we go.
PB Battleship game in the Logos stack. We are going to use a tutorial. Guides. We are going to use Scaffold. Basecamp app. Pass. Yes, and then we said we are going to use tic-tac-toe. So I'm just telling it where I can look for stuff. That's why you cannot trust anyone. Can't just have one AI provider. And definitely seriously want to look into local AI. I think for coding it's not there fully yet, but something different to play more with, more local AI. Okay. All right, just giving. Ooh. Okay, so going through the agent. Also, I haven't played with open code much. Okay, so yes, hello always, confirm. Just giving open code access to my local code and repos. So is this, yeah, it's the inspiration of what I gave it. Okay, cool. Yeah, I can see why some of my colleagues some of my mates really like open code. Okay, so what we're going to do is we want to build a core module with logic, and which is going to interact with the delivery module to send and receive messages, and a UI where we can see the game and click. That would be the main three components. And then we're going to try to start with the UI first, just because you want to have like the good looking stuff first, and we finish with the delivery integration because it's a bit more tricky. I think what we do is that we probably start with versus AI, right? So like having a little AI logic, not LLM, right? Just a simple AI logic, game logic we can play against, so that we can have a working UI first, and then we replace local AI logic with delivery if we have the time for it. Because we've been encountering some hiccups. Okay. Yeah. So again, in terms of the modules, so like the module is just a library, right? That exposes a C API. C API is just an API, right? That can be used by other local native binary executable, which means that you can really use any language for that. Okay, you can even use JavaScript if you want, and you just embed a Node.js in there to expose the C API. You can use Rust, of course, C++, Golang. You can a lot of choices there. We probably, for now, it's just C++, C and C++ in terms of what we have in tutorials, but down the line, I'm really hoping we can just push some Rust. I will be playing more with Rust as well there. And then the QML part is one way of doing things, and we do have some work being done around Web Engine. WebView, Qt WebView, which will enable UI to be done in HTML and JavaScript, but being run locally. I think there's still a lot of questions around that. I haven't looked into. I know there's some progress been done recently, but I haven't yet looked into all the security implications there. The QML and C++ is definitely the more secure way of doing things. Okay, so what I quite like with the idea refine, it just helps you, So again, I suggest these skills are quite cool. And the idea refine skill helps you going through, questions you should ask yourself. So which Logos platform we are targeting? So are we talking about desktop platform, Logos Basecamp, or LEZ blockchain? So I'm going to say, yes, Logos. I'm going to type my answer. How do I type my answer? There you go. Logos Basecamp. And we are going to use, yes, actually I gave you the wrong program. New feature. I gave him the wrong folder of Logos Scaffold, HDX Basecamp. The right repo is in. Now the new Scaffold feature is not. It's right. This folder. There you go. Here. I guess you got confused. Confirm. Who is the primary audience for this project? Logos team down demo, it's not developer. Yeah, we're doing a live stream. We are doing a live stream. So we want to show some under the hood information like message passing about delivery. Okay. How do you want to handle the price state problem? In Battleship, each player's ship placement must be hidden on a broadcast peer-to-peer network like Waku, or now Logos delivery, or messages are visible to all subscribers. Yeah, let's do a commit reveal scheme, I think, which is something which is a classic problem in peer-to-peer and blockchain environment. So I think it's good to talk about it. So with the commit reveal scheme, what you do is that you have a private state. So in my case, Battleship, I'm going to place the ship on the map, right, on the grid. I don't want you to know where my ship are. So I can't really push that over the network in clear, because then you could just have a program that grab and hack it. The stakes are very low because you're just playing a game, right? But it's kind of design you want to think about if you want to have higher stakes. So what I'm going to do instead is that I'm going to go and I'm going to have my map, and I'm going to have this encoded in some information and do a hash over it, which gives me like a long number or a string. And I'm going to give you the hash and say that's the hash of my map. You cannot deduce what was the data where my ship were from the hash, but at the end of the game, I can say, look, this was my map, and this is the hash, right? And I can't cheat that. So that if I win, I can still share to you at the end of the game, here was my hash, here was my map, and you can see that you didn't win because of the movement you did, right? So it's a way, there's a commit reveal. I commit to something, I commit to the state first by giving you a hash. You can't deduce the state or the grid or where the ship are on the grid based on the hash. But at the end, I can prove you that I didn't cheat and that my starting state was the one I told you was when I give you the hash, right?
How does the game know to tell you that you had a successful hit when you take a turn and you hit?
Yeah, so you are going to send me the move. We are going to say, B3, and I'm going to tell you, I need to be honest here and tell you, yes, you hit or you don't hit. But at the end of the game, I give you the hash first. So at the end of the game, I can give you the state, and this state, one hash needs to go to this string I gave you at the start. And then, so you can see by yourself, and you can say, I gave you B3, and you say miss, but actually it's hit. You cheated, right? So I can see at the end of the game, we can see whether we cheated or not.
Okay, that makes sense. What doesn't make sense though is from the game flow standpoint, I don't want to have to trust you to be honest on whether it was a hit. I just want the UI to say hit.
Yeah, I think we keep it simple for now. I wonder. I don't think there is a way. I can't think of a way right now to do it differently. But at the end of the day, is when you say I want to say I win, I can prove that I was honest all along. So you're not going to know I'm honest mid-game. But when we finish the game, I say I win, or you say you lose, or you say you win, we can prove to each other that we were honest all along.
Yeah, it brings an interesting. It brings the real life Battleship dynamic into it, doesn't it?
Yeah, so it's the same, because in real life it's the same thing, right? You have your ship in there, and you hit, and then it's only at the end when we can look at each other, and you can say, how was your, So it's very similar to that, right?
Yeah.
And you can change. And so the same way, like in real life, I can't really start to mess and move the ship around because you see me like doing stuff with both hands, being like, what are you doing on the board? What's going on here? Well, it's the same here, where if I change any of the data, then it will not lead to the same hash. So I cheated because the hash is different. So you like give me the state that leads to this hash you committed at first. Okay.
My brain is smooth, so forgive the smooth brain. Is there some sort of ZK commit reveal way we could do it where it's like, yes, you hit, but
yeah, probably because with ZK you like you do private execution, right? So you can say here are the input to my circuit, which could be the state and the move, and the state is private but the move is public, and then you do the computation and do a proof that is executed correctly, or proof that it's the correct output. So you could do a ZK thing where each move is verified. Yeah, probably yes. Not today though, but yes. Probably. All right, I'm just saying it's just replaying. We're going to do 1 hour vibe session, which are already, now we're in. But yeah, so replying to these questions to help with setting the scope. I'm looking at HDX Basecamp. All right, so yeah, I can show you actually quickly here on the side. I think we're going to do a lot of tangent discussions. So this new feature I have in Scaffold, if you jump in the README, I like to keep the README up to date. Up at the end here. There you go. Just going to send in the chat what maybe I'm talking about here. So, all right, so in this case, so you have setup, and you just create a little file, scaffold.toml, to contain some information for Scaffold. Modules, we find the modules, like we find the local folders and project where we are building modules, so you can know what to build. Install, we build the modules and install them in a local profile, in 2 different local profiles. And then with launch, we'll be able to launch Basecamp, and we have different profile, and we'll be able to play the game. Probably have to use build portable as well. So it's a kind of a module. So module ensures build portable. So modules are .lgx file, basically it's like a bundle, and then you can store the module in Basecamp and have it available. So build portable, create a bundle, so you can then give it to anyone basically to install it. All right, so is exploring here. And yeah, just thinking about that. Okay, so using space key, let's define the game. And we are going to start with a local game against a local simple AI logic. I want to build a module for the game logic that we plug in delivery at a later stage. And the QML UI for the interface as per the tutorial. Okay, still exploring Basecamp. And Claude is still dead.
Yes, and the people are talking about it in the streets. Well, thank you for being here, folks.
Okay. So now just looking at the tic-tac-toe part. A lot of exploration being done.
I both like and don't like the dollar amount right at the bottom there.
Yeah. That's all right. Subscription, I don't remember how much I get. The idea, what I quite like with the Venice Pro, Venice AI Pro Plus subscription is that it rolls over. So I think I paid, $69 or $68 a month,
Nice.
which gives you a certain amount of credits. I don't remember, it gives you more credits, right, than what you pay for. But you actually roll over every month for up to 2 or 3 months, something like that. So if you don't use all of it, it's good to go. Okay. Writing the spec document. Excellent. Getting there, folks. Getting there. Actually, I wonder, maybe I can show quickly the I wonder if I can show the Logos module app in the meantime. I have it just here. So actually, I think it's already built there. Let me just find the HDX file. Or let me zoom in. Just so you can see that. Just looking at the tic-tac-toe module I did previously. No HDX file. Let's see if I can do Basecamp. Install. Launching Alice. Which one is which? Okay, let's see. So that's the tic-tac-toe I did last time. Can't really zoom in though. I have enabled multiplayer. I don't remember if it's going to crash. Or is it going to work?
Come on, module, you can do it.
No, I think because I had a little issue with that. So instead, let's just click that. What we can do is build portable.
Oh yeah, I was doing that with
All right, so build portable and it tells me where I put them, which is here. And so we can go into the cube here. Move this page away in the meantime. And you can do install HDX package. Logos module tic-tac-toe. Okay, and then it will be HDX file. And it's here. I can load it, and then I can install the C++ UI here. There you go. That's here. Load it. I click on it. Loads. Enable multiplayer. No. Okay.
Do you need
Let's go back to
to? You know what? I won't distract you. You're on a roll.
Let's go back to this one later. Okay, so here's simple spec. So we have Battleship, and Battleship we have QML, C, C++, QML, random placement for both players. AI is random targeting. Human attack by clicking. No delivery module dependency for now. Yes. Functions. So logic of the game will be on the C side. Yeah, let's do it. For now, just do a random ship placement as well, so that we try to get something working now, as we hit some technical difficulties. I see Claude is back. That's fine. We started here. Let's not change. Okay, so he's doing a few things. All right, so writing some C code. Again, C just like easiest way to expose the API. As per the name, but that could be done in Rust, right? Easily. There is ways to expose C API in Rust and to define them. It's very commonly done. So C code. So we have the state, miss, hit, ship sunk. We have the cell state on the board. Is it water? Is it a ship? Or is it already hit? Different ships, carrier, size 5, size 4, 3, 3, 2. Yeah, is the ship horizontal or vertical? And then the game status. Are we placing ships? Are we one or hit? So data structure being put in place. And then the functions, that's right. So that would be the function, right? So Battleship _ start with the game state. So these are the functions that you expose on CPI, right? So the idea is that you define functions, and this function does things, right? But then you can call them from the UI. And the UI will call the start of the game. We say, okay, the player clicks there, so it's going to BS attack. It's going to do an attack, and it's going to call this function on the module to say, okay, player clicks there, meaning that the attack's there, or receive the message from over delivery saying, okay, the other player attacks there, and then call it, and so reproduce, produce the result locally, and then reply and say, okay, you have hit or not. And now here's the logic. So the first file, here .h is the header, so it's just like the name of the functions and kind of like interface definition basically. And then .c is a C code which contains the actual logic for this, right? So when you do a new game, for example, so it's going to just allocate a space to hold the data of the game. And then we are going to initialize the player and set the status, right? Start racing from scratch. And then we're going to place a ship. So we do a random ship placement. It's going to say, okay, we have a game, and let's place a ship on the game. And just going to verify the position as the ship fits in the game, right? Very position, things like that, right? The C code there. Write a test. Always good to just verify it's going to work, or to expect it's going to work. So some tests done in different C file. yeah, so CMake list, so you can see, so that's part of the tutorial. Okay, I can bring back a web page here. So if I go to the tutorial page, here we go. So going through the wrapping a C library here. So moving through the steps fast, right? But basically initiate some things. And you can write, you write headers for your API, write a C file for your logic, your actual code, and then you can build it. And then for the Logos module, you have a couple of files to generate one metadata JSON file and CMake list file. And you can see it's a very short file to explain, okay, what file I'm looking at needs to be included. That's the interface now, where we start to have some Qt in there with QObject and QString, so you can use it from the so the module interaction happens via the Qt framework, because Qt has a plugin system that we are reusing for Basecamp and for Logos Core in general. So we have an interface declared in Qt so that it's easily exposed on the module and easily consumed by the other module, right? What's interesting with these modules is that each module has its own thread and own processing. So you have process isolation between the modules for security purposes. And so here we define the header file, and now the C++ code for the UI. Okay, now we have the QML UI. So that's the metadata JSON we talk about, which just points out to what file we are going to include in there. Like here, there are some steps have been skipped because usually I like to discuss a bit more about what we're planning, but I think Claude was a bit too eager here. I haven't used the skills too much in open code, so yeah. Okay. Nix file. So we use Nix. What is Nix? It is a deterministic building system, which allows you to kind of pin your dependencies and your versions and just build things at the same time, same way every time. In Nix, we just get it to build your C library as it builds the whole thing, right? And the Nix part handles the wrapping into the module as well, so you don't have to worry about it too much. Okay, so it was very eager, so that happened sometime. And that's the QML code. So you can see here, main QML. So what's interesting in there is the layout, text Battleship on top. What is the status? All right. I wonder if you just did the whole game now and we basically save the time. Okay, our code is written, C plus tape. Okay, C test pass, cool. Okay, so pure C game logic in lib Battleship with no Qt dependencies. So just game logic again can be in any language. C is easiest right now, but we could definitely use Rust. C in C++ plugin. Yeah, to bridge, we use Qt for the plugins. So having a C++ plugin to be able to wrap basically the C library into the Qt framework, QML GUI, and then the Nix pattern. All right. Okay, so he did it. Okay, and then so he did the whole code. All right, so we didn't have time to look at that. That's fine. We got slowed down by Claude anyway. So now the next step is going to call. So that's the Logos Scaffold. LGS is a Logos Scaffold. As I mentioned, I have a new Basecamp feature. Setup. We just yes. Let's run it. Let's run setup. Yes. Okay, so setup is going to the LGS Basecamp setup is going to go and install Basecamp in a subfolder of your project. Actually, it's going to cache, but like have one Basecamp version installed for your project and one have Logos module builder version and Logos module package manager version installed for your project. So basically, it brings the tooling in. Let me tell you a bit more. So if you look on the right-hand side here, at some point, it tells you to install a few things. So yeah, so it tells you to install the Logos module tool here to basically do a few things. And the idea is that Scaffold does that for you. Yeah, so I think what's more important is this one, the Logos LGPM, which is Logos package manager tool. And that is being installed automatically by Scaffold. So the idea is that it kind of like makes the tutorial a bit shorter. Trying to finalize this tutorial first and get that into the docs, and then we provide some tutorial for the Scaffold. Okay, so one thing with Nix, is that it lacks to be deterministic, so it's better to commit changes first before you build them with Nix, so that you can just use the Git repo. And so you have to have a Git repo. So one step you missed is that you have to have your project as a Git repo, because Nix likes to be able to say, okay, I'm using a specific commit to build things, instead of just having free flowing files all over the place. Yes, I let my AI sign use my commit key all the time.
I moved the screen off, so.
It's okay. I have a 30 plus character password, so I'll be surprised if anyone can guess it.
That is not a challenge.
Challenge. Please don't. Okay. Okay, so install happened. Okay, let's have a look here. Let's slow down a minute here. So yeah, so there you go. So it did HDX Basecamp install, which builds the modules for you and copies the module into local profiles just for your project again. So the idea is that with Scaffold, it doesn't poison your install of Basecamp. It's just going in local profile and copies them. So it builds everything that worked, which is great. And then install them. So you can see here is copying that. So that's the result of the build here. So this HDX file you can see here is the result of the build, and it's copying that into Alice profile. There, all right, installing the file. Install 2, and then you can see here that we have a .scaffold folder into my Logos Battleship folder, which is what I'm working. That's my project folder. So I have a .scaffold folder /basecamp/profile/Alice, and then XDG data, Logos Basecamp dev modules. That's come from where Basecamp installs plugins, in your profile, right? And then we do the same with Bob, and so we're good to go. Yeah, let's launch it. Launch it for me. So then we do HDX Basecamp launch. At some point, it's like the AI has done everything. And it's like, oh, you can now run the command yourself. I'm like, well, I think, I don't feel like I should.
Just finish the job, AI.
Yeah, just finish up. Okay, so we're here. I see a new icon here. Let's click on it.
So it already installed all the. Oh yeah, you already installed the.
Yeah, it's pre-installed. So if I jump into, so click on this cube at the bottom here, and you can see core module. You have a Battleship core module here, which is loaded. And then module you say BS. That's bullshit. All right, we have a little crash here that happens.
These things happen, folks. This app is an alpha.
Yeah, yes. It is open. So I mentioned there's still some rough edges there.
Sometimes I let it crash twice just to make sure it's not something else.
Yeah, let's try something. Yeah, so I find out some issues with HDX stuff sometimes. So let's see if we can make it work with portable. Just why is investigating the crash here? Okay, so here you can see on the right side of the screen, we just build the two modules ourselves. I'm going to use my personal Basecamp one. Install HDX package. Okay. Okay, it's loading fine. And then I'm going to install the UI. If this it works. Now we're hitting the same issue here. Yeah, apparently it went very fast on the tutorial, so I wonder if that's the issue here. If he skipped something. Let's close this for now. Yeah, okay, no, so basically what happened is that okay, so he's thinking that he basically did a refresh function that that just kind of like spams calling the modules, and that's how yeah, okay. Yeah, let's look at the code he wrote, and maybe that's we can see ourselves. Okay, I'm going to close Basecamp for now. Okay, and let me zoom in. There you go. Okay, can we try that? There you go. Okay, we can look at this later. All right, so we have the Battleship game here.
Boom.
Let's go increase the font. Yeah, double font. Okay, it works. So yeah, so yeah, it was the code it produced was not great. All right. Okay, so your fleet, that's my fleet. For now, is this random distribution of the ships. Click new game, new distribution, new game. And yeah, let's start. So if I go and I click here, what is red? I guess red is missed. And I guess the enemy tried to hit this one. So it's very fast AI here. Click here. Ooh. That a
That
hit?
might be a miss. That might be a miss, and the other one's a hit.
Ah, yeah. Yes, I think it's that. Okay, yeah. I think we can definitely improve. Let's add a legend. I think it went very fast here on the. Oh, wrong one. There you go.
It's everyone's favorite module, the incrementer.
Yes. Let's add a legend for hit versus miss and make sync. Hit versus sync. Clearer. Cool. Okay, so we have the game. It works. Cool. That's my ships. Hit there. He missed me. Missed me. Oh, hit. Nice. Oh, I got a big. Yes, it's sank now. I've got a big one. Okay, we can continue playing. Oh, that was a risky move on their side. Come on, where is the small ship? Where is the small ship? Yes. It's going to restart again before I finish it. Let me finish this.
Why would it restart?
Because I just asked it to make it clearer of the hit versus sync. There you go. So he restarted. So definitely was good. So it's working right in the way that it automatically build and install in my profile and start Basecamp for me. So definitely I recommend the developer to check it out. Enemy ship, your ship 5-5.
You still have all 5. You've sunk one of the ship? No?
Yeah. It means that there's only one enemy ship remaining, basically. There you go. Must be here. There you go. Victory, enemy ship destroyed. Nice. Let's close this one. It's the wrong one. Okay, so relaunch.
All right, so as you...
Nice.
Oh, nice. That does look better.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's commit and push. Just count the first session. So now let's go and add a delivery module. So let's first, I think we'll do naive version first, and we'll see if we have time to do a more clear version. So naive version would be, you just assume we are just 2 players, that's it, and so any move we see over the wire is a move from our game. Let's just spec that first. So using spec skill, player. Network.
Again, the spec skill is the skill saved in spec directory in your machine.
Yeah, so here you can see fetch skill from. Yeah, let's see. Again, open code, because with Claude you install the skill and you can do / and then the skill. With open code, I have to spend more time understanding exactly how I'm supposed to do that. But anyway, do have a random ID used for each player. Okay, let's see if he's using the space key at all. Here we go, his keys. Wait. I don't even know where he got his keys from.
Could they be in one of the repos you fed, like Scaffold?
This key, that's my keys. I know these keys, but I don't know why he can't find the agent's key. Anyway, it's fine. Essentially, we're assuming that 2 players network for now. Yes, naive, no lobby, matchmaking. Each player generates a random ID as game start to distinguish self echo. Yeah. Ship placement stays random. Yes. No exchange of board price state. Since we can't have ship position on the broadcast network, we do not send ship position. We only send attack and result. Yes. Opponent trust us to report. Yeah. Let's wait. Let's plan mode. Let's have the commitment scheme in place. There you go. I'm just telling him to we can try to have a cheat mode just to play with that. Let's see if we have time for that. Yeah, so I can start. Each player hashes their board layout and broadcasts the hash, which is commit. During the game, players exchange attacks and result on trust. Yeah, as we said, we are just going to trust each other. At game end, the loser reveals their full board. Now the winner reveals their full board, and the winner can verify. Now both players reveal at the end.
Yeah, it seems like both players.
Now the winner should reveal. The winner should reveal the full board.
But then the loser could also have been cheating, but doesn't have to reveal if they lost.
I think because the loser is the end of the game, so the loser reveal, but both of them should reveal there. How should player matchmaking work in the naive 2-player setup? Lower ID goes first. Yeah, because someone has to go first. Yeah, lower ID goes first. That sounds good to me. So the question of who is playing first, right? Lower ID. Let me just jump out and need to have some water while Claude is working here. Okay. So let's talk a bit more about that and good opportunity to talk about delivery stuff. So, we're still in plan mode here. Okay, message type. So you have to decide what messages you are going to send over the network. So join game. So as soon as I start, I'm going to say, here's my player ID and here's my board hash. So I'm going to start with the board and player ID ready to go. We both do that. And then the lowest ID of us, we start playing. We can do an attack. So I send my ID. So it's me sending the attack. And then the attack is, row and colon, C5 or whatever. And then I reply. So I send an attack. My opponent replies with the result. And saying, here is the attack you did. And here's the result. And whether a ship was sunk. And then at the end, I will review my board to say, here's my board data, and that should match the hash we did earlier. I would say add board hash to the board. Okay, and then game message. Oh yes, and then so the messages are one of those, right? Easy. For the flow, so yeah, we wait for an opponent, both join the game, and we can start playing. And we play, and then turn, it's game over. Yeah, easy. Should say how we encode the data. That's fine. And so what do we have? The changes. On the C library, which is the core logic, we are going to have a hash in place, encode the data so we can hash it and verify it, and applying an opponent attack. So now we have to get an attack from over the network. We have to apply it locally. So we're both going to maintain the state of the board from the messages we get on the network, or the state of the enemy board from the messages we get on the, wait. Yes, both sides, right? Both my side and the enemy side would be maintained from message over the network. We are adding the delivery module, have enable multiplayer, disable multiplayer button, and I think we should be good. Yes, and then so with delivery, you just need to decide a content topic, which is kind of a string. It is a string to flag tag messages to say, oh, these messages are for this application, right? Here. Okay. So I just added to add the board hash to repeat board message. Okay. And then we can plan. So there is a use plan skill. Agent skill comes with a plan skill. Change the spec. Going to change the interface. We can look at the code being produced. Yeah, we're going to do that actually. What he thinks. Let's see if I can zoom in on the interface here. There you go, zoom ID. There you go. That should be good. So we have the Scaffold folder has been created by Scaffold. It brings so the portable HDX as the one we can give to Franck. I might give one to Aaron at the end, see if he can play with me. And then the profile, so that we have different profile which have their own data for Basecamp, so we can launch two apps together, which we are going to see in a few. Logs and the state. And then so then we have two folders. So we have Scaffold Toml, which is created by Scaffold app, which contains some information about the environment we're working on. So Basecamp would be like, we have a pin. So we pin Basecamp to the latest release, but you can decide to say, I'm going to use with, I want to use the latest Basecamp. So you can just change the commit hash for that, or even point to your own fork if you want here. And then this is for the project, being like, okay, well, there's two modules, one which is core module Battleship and the Battleship UI QML. And if you have dependencies, which we are going to add with delivery, we are going to have another module here to that. Let's go. Okay. Okay, so we're just looking at the spec question here. When the opponent reports result sunk, we need to know which ship type was sunk so we can mark all its cells as sunk on our attack board. But we don't know the ship's exact position. Only say we just attacked. Two options, opponent report. I think okay, so I would just say the opponent reports all the sales of the sync ship. Here. And the type. Question 1. Question 2. Turn flow multiplayers in the current AI flow. Attack is synchronous. Human fires AI response immediately. Multiplayer attack broadcast, attack message, and returns. So multiplayer, I click this button, send a message over the network. My opponent receives the message, updates their board, and then they push a button and send back. So we should waiting. Yes. Yes, we can say the question is like, what do we do? Well, we should probably display something like waiting for opponent message. Display waiting for opponent's move message. With many typo. Okay. Good. On the right hand side, this agent skill, write some specs. So that's always, I think that's quite good. Spec, you want to do spec-based development when you use AI, when you do vibe code, when you use ALM. As you can see here, 2 modules. The Battleship module. Nix Flex, that's for Nix to the building part. Metadata JSON, that's the Logos module metadata. It has some tests, and the source here are the C++ code, H interface, and C, right? So that's the core logic. So the lib here, the lib folder, the core logic in C, that can be in any language you want. And then you can create a wrapper, a C++ wrapper to then integrate, to wrap it in the Logos module, right? So you can have it in any language. And that's your C and your H. There's a header. So header is just C file. So the header, so like in Rust, it would be just one Rust file, usually, or with TOML, like it would be your Rust repo. Like the H file here, just define some data structure, some data type, and then say here's a function, and that's all C. And then in C++, you just take the same function, but wrap them in C++, and do the Qt part, so that it can be exposed on the Qt module. So it's just kind of like fluff, and the fluff actually is very like this meta. And we have this Logos module builder program that allows us to have this CMake here, super short. It's like 20 lines. It used to be like 100 of lines. But yeah, so that's how your result look like. Your code, your library. And so this library here as well, you can wrap anything you want. So you don't even have to have the code, right? So as I mentioned previously, so you can look in the Flex Nix here. So a quick chat, I wanted to mention that. So actually, let's install. Okay. So in the Nix, so again, the Nix file is here for the building part. We have this pre-configure here that basically says that if we don't have the .so files, .so files as the library, that's the binary, right? That's the binary that is being used by the computer to run the code, right? And .c is a source code. So you think that if we have some C code, but we don't have the library, then let's compile it. And which is that GCC shares, that's compiling. But you don't even need that, right? You don't need to compile it yourself. So you could grab any SO file existing out there, any library, and package it in Logos module, right? So, so let me repeat that again, because I think that's a good one, right? Here is that in this example, we built a new C library to wrap in the Logos module to have the game logic. And compile it here with this pre-configured tag. So Nix will compile it first and show that we have the shared object, the library, the binary, that then gets wrapped in the Logos module and become available in the Basecamp. But you can grab any existing library and wrap it in the Logos module. It doesn't have to be something you create, or it doesn't have to be something from Logos. So we have one of our contributors is going to a a conference. There's a conference at the hackathon right now, and it's going to wrap the solid distributed storage system into a module. So you could wrap, we can use Logos storage, but you could wrap APFS in a module if you prefer to use APFS. Or you could wrap anything. Like I use sync, for example, to sync between my devices. I could wrap it in there, right? And maybe have a different UI in there. So any existing shared libraries that can run on a computer right now, you can wrap it in the Logos module and then expose it and then package it and then send it. So if I package APFS, I could send that over to someone else. Or Bitcoin node, right? Could take Bitcoin library and I'm not creating a new Bitcoin library, I just grab the existing one and then wrap it in a module and just ship this module. And here's now your Bitcoin node in Logos module, and this can run the full Bitcoin node if you want. There's no limitations there. And then this Bitcoin node, this Bitcoin library has already API exposed, around send transaction, check balance, and that can be exposed on the module, and then you can create a new UI. And maybe that can be our next session. We can just try to do that for fun, right? And then you can create a new UI, a QML UI, and then you can ship this LGX to anyone that can then install them and have a Bitcoin node in Logos with the UI for it, right?
It's rather mind-blowing. And why stop at Bitcoin? Let's get all of the nodes in there. That's that's huge.
And so something like that, which is an interesting part of Logos Core here, is that Logos Core in itself is an interesting product where you have this modular approach of we have this existing technology of Linux and Nix that enables this kind of modularity, but we're taking it as a desktop application level, right? Where we're saying you can have your desktop application and you can install this component and then interact with each other, but then you have a neat desktop application as the end result instead of having the whole OS being there. And this modularity allows you to build building blocks the same way that you have modularity in Unix and Linux. You have take these building blocks, you can ship them and get them, but it's all contained. And so it really brings a mindset of Linux and Docker into one package and into one native application, right? And one thing to mention here is that for the distributions, right now the distribution is mainly done via LGS packages and GitHub, which is centralized, right? But the idea is that then we distribute the packages on Logos storage, right? So it means that I tell you, hey, I built a good game, and give you just a URL, basically like a link, an address, and you grab this address, and you're going to download the package from Logos storage, and we're going to add, and recently we talked about signature as well from the team, which is that I say, here's my public key, here's the address, you install the public key and say, okay, I trust Franck's code, and then your Basecamp can download automatically from Logos storage the binary, verify it's all signed by me, say, okay, I can run this right. Or you decide not to trust, and you can say, okay, well, I'm going to check the code first and build everything locally. And you can have both, experience where you can grab binaries, which are signed and trusted by whoever you trust, or you can just build from scratch locally. And using Nix allows it to be very reproducible, so that it can work, on different environments. And have this, it works on a machine, works on your machine, because thanks to Nix, we have this very deterministic way of building things and reproducing that. Okay, so I think it's done. So let's go. And tells me I should be able to launch both. So I'm going to go a bit crazy here and try to make it happen. Sorry, yes, I think my mic. All right, sweet. So HBS, let's zoom in again. HBS Basecamp, launch Alice. So it's building locally. So might not work. Let's see. because I had some issue with delivery module in this thing, but I already know the workaround. So let's see. Okay, so you start the app. It's installed here. Let's click on it. Enable multiplayer. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it's reading. Okay. Yeah, it's one little bug I saw. Let me just kill that. Instead, we're going to build the portable one. Okay, actually, I'm going to tell you the AI to do that for me. Some issue. I'm just telling you to use the portable one. Yes. Yeah, there was an issue with the delivery module and with the HDX. So basically, in short, and that's kind of the technical details here, is that the dev HDX only contains a bare minimum and points to other dependencies on your local machine, which allows you to build faster and to basically kind of like hack more with it. But then the HDX portable is the one you distribute and it contains everything in the HDX file. And that's the one you attach to your asset, but it takes a bit longer to build, it's a bit bigger. So you should be using the dev one, but I had some issues, I think, with transient dependencies because we have the UI, which depends on Battleship UI, depends on Battleship modular, which then depends on the delivery module. I think that creates some issues. I have seen another question from someone in the chat. Yeah, so initially thought we could only build Logos program with Rust. I didn't know we could be thing with C. Okay, so again, right, so LDZ is a execution layer for the blockchain, and it uses risk zero, right? So the way it works is that you program on LDZ, so program on the blockchain, is you taking byte, it's a byte code, it's an array of bytes, and you push that on the blockchain, and these bytes are interpreted by risk zero in terms of what it does, right? And to get this byte, you go from Rust. And you compile it to risk zero bytes. And that you can, so there is, like, if you look, it's very similar to Solana in this context, and it'd be possible, and it's done by Solana, where you can use Python, for example, and you can write code in Python and have then produce a byte you can push on the blockchain. So it's one part of the ecosystem, right, which is on-chain execution. Now, the thing, and one of the main differences with Logos here is that we are not considering the blockchain as the only component of architecture, or the only part that has to be decentralized, right? Which is kind of the problem with other projects, is that this is the blockchain and kind of like this holy grail, and you have a decentralized network of different type of blockchain nodes. But then the end user, to access this decentralized infrastructure, has to go centralize choke points, and which kind of like defeat the purpose, right? So you have to go through a centralized RPC provider to be able to interact with the blockchain, because running a node yourself is not encouraged and it's very hard. You have to go through the whole web stack, DNS, centralized web server, to have your app to interact with the blockchain. And so you have it's Web3 is decentralized, but actually as a user, I'm using a lot of decentralized, non-private, non-censorship resistant tools and components to interact with this decentralized network. So my experience is not decentralized. Whilst with Logos, we we say, no, well, we have everything has to be decentralized, right? Or most of it has to be decentralized so that the user can have a private experience and censorship-resistant experience. So now you have to think about, okay, well, you have the blockchain component, and that's fine. You can run the node locally and access it, and that's great. But the software to interact with your local node as a UI has to also be run locally, right? So now, well, you have to build this stack, right? And that's why we have this Logos module where you can have a module, which is your blockchain module. And then you can have your logic, which can be in C or in Rust, and create a module for that. And then your UI, right now QML, and we're looking at other things like JavaScript, HTML for these local UIs. So, and then the blockchain is one thing, right? And the blockchain is good to get a consensus and to get finality. But if we're playing a game here, do I want to have every move of my game, in the blockchain? Probably not. If I'm managing documents, do I want to go and encrypt and upload every single document on the blockchain? Probably not, right? So that's why we have to have other pillars like storage, delivery, chat, where I have better latency. I can I'm looking at the different aspects, and maybe I don't have consensus and finality on this document per se, but I can have bigger documents being stored. I can have replication, or with delivery, I can have faster, better latency, and some ephemerality. Okay, so let's go back to the AI here. Okay, things ready, so let's have a look. Purely trusting the AI on this one here. All right, so basically what we say is that we had an issue when we tried to load the delivery module. I have seen this issue in the past, which is specific to the dev HDX. Oh, wait, no. Let's have a look. No, it's not going to work. I think he reloaded.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yes, it's going to work. Launch at least for me. Okay, so reinstall the HDX portable and launch me bypassing Scaffold tool. Yeah, no, absolutely. So Rust and Spell. So Spell is an abstraction to make develop programming on the blockchain easier. It's very similar to Anchor and Solana. So it's just like an abstraction layer to just make things easier. But yeah, the idea is that you use Rust and Spell to write your blockchain program like Solidity, and then to write the rest of the application. Instead of using HTML, JavaScript, and push that on the web server, you use QML and C++, or QML and C, or QML and Rust, and probably later HTML. And yes, and so very similar to, and so the HDX file. So we're playing with HDX file right now. .hdx, you can see here on the screen, right? .hdx file. That's your IPK. All right. So HDX file, it's Logos. It's your IPK, right? It's a bundle that contains also libraries that you can install. And what it does here for me, what the AI is doing for me, is just install this HDX file for myself, for me, right? So here, let me type this command. Oh, it's not running. No, there's no Basecamp. Okay, let me just show you the tic-tac-toe module here. So if you go on the tic-tac-toe module repo I shared earlier, I can share it again here. is that if you go to the release, go to tags, can go to tags and then releases here. There you go. You can see here the assets are .lgx files. So you can start, so that's the module, like the backend, comes the logic, and that's the UI. So you install these files, click install HDX in your Basecamp, and that's it. That's your APK. Right now, sure, go for it. Play with that. We're still on testnet. There's no funds, but it is a program you're running on your application. So you want to be able to trust it, and we're adding security for that, like signing and things like that. But yeah, it is APKs. Okay, so just to remind everyone, we were able to build a Battleship game with the local AI. And now we're adding the delivery module, which is message passing, peer-to-peer messaging, so that we can have a multiplayer game, a peer-to-peer multiplayer game. And peer-to-peer multiplayer games that exist forever. So one of the interesting things with the Logos stack, right, is yes, it's private, censorship resistant, peer-to-peer. But in terms of the one of the issues with gaming nowadays, multiplayer gaming, is that you have the game, but you have to have the servers running the game. And so what happens when you have a popular game that has been running for years and the studio behind it wants to turn off the servers? Well, there's two ways. Usually they can either turn off the servers and that's it, and you can't play the game anymore. And so it's literally you bought a game, but you can't play the game anymore because the infrastructure to allow you to play the game multiplayer doesn't exist anymore. And so here there's two things, right? Either you have some hackers that goes around and can try to reverse engineering the server code and rewrite it themselves, so you can have like a version you can run yourself, which is could be illegal in some way as well, and may have issues with that. Or the dev studio goes and release the code and say, we are turning off servers, guys, but here's the code. We release it open source so you can run it yourself. And the problem is that the second part, nobody does it. Very little companies go and say, okay, let's release the code so that we are turning off servers. We intend to not make money out of it anymore because we're just turning off the infrastructure. And very little companies are going to release the code so that people can read it themselves because say, oh, it's IP, whatever. It's like, so now if you're a game developer, you could use this stack just for the part of building something which is always sovereign and always belongs to the players, because the players don't have to rely on the central infrastructure to play the games. You can rely on this peer-to-peer network, and it's free forever, right? It's like it works forever. It doesn't have to rely on you running infrastructure, and it doesn't mean that you don't make money on it, right? So what we're saying here is that instead of spending money into running the game servers, you don't spend money on that, and you can still have other strategies. You can still ask people to pay for the games. There's many open source models that work for that as well. Okay, let's have a look. Rant done. But yes, I would suggest people to look into that, just for the infrastructure part of things. All right, let's click. Let's see if this is working. I can see the QML UI core module. Okay, delivery module is here, so that's good and that's new. We have our delivery module here. Oh, we don't have the battle. I don't see the battle ship core module. So I think maybe that's why it doesn't work here right now. I think he missed to install a module here. Yeah, I don't know if we are going to fix the multiplayer today.
I think we got pretty far, though. We got it working. Can you cover one more time the initial sources and context that you gave? Logos Scaffold, the tutorials, and what else did you feed in that initial query?
Okay, of course. But let me I see the modules here. I wonder if there's Oh, okay.
Bang.
I phrase again. Yeah, so delivery module. Yeah, it's delivery module. Okay, so yeah, unfortunately, so delivery modules, the new documentation is coming soon. We have some compatibility issues with the first release of the. Oh yeah, no, it's using the right one. Okay, yeah, I say it's not very stable. So I was using. So let me share what I was using here. Let's close that. So I was using the stable Logos tutorial version here, which is tutorial v1. Sharing the link in the chat. Now, and that allows you to So with that you can build apps. You have this 3 tutorial here. So if I just click on the README here, how to wrap a C library or exist any. I'm showing you C library here, but it can be a Rust library, it can be a Go. You should be able to do Golang library. So anything that can expose FFI or CAPI. Building a QML UI app. So we did the QML UI app here. And then the C++ UI module. No, we didn't do this one. We did the QML UI app. So that's kind of like basic elements which I have on tutorial. If you jump to the latest branch, which is like still it's in development of the tutorial, you can see now things have changed a bit. And we have because now it's a QML, a C++ UI module. Now it's QML. Well, before on the stable one it was Qt. Just QML is easier to do. See, there's a lag actually on the screen, so I'm going to wait a bit. There you go. So that's the Logos tutorial. I was able to make it work. So I have this. The problem with this Logos tutorial is not fully compatible with the latest delivery module being done, or the delivery module was not compatible with it. But I was able to make things work here in this Logos module tic-tac-toe repo. So you can play with it and look into it and try it. So that's a working multiplayer app. And then we discuss. So I have other tic-tac-toe repos on my profile, my GitHub profile. And then finally, I was playing with Scaffold Basecamp feature here, which allows you to do something automatically. Yeah, so I think if we spend maybe a few more hours on this, I'm sure we can make it work because I was able to make the tic-tac-toe work. One of the main issues was the HDX part. I think we're going to stop here for now. But yeah, you saw how to build an application in Logos Basecamp. Integration of delivery module is not there yet. And I heard that the storage module, I haven't played myself with the storage module, but I've heard the storage module is more stable. So you can definitely play with this one as well. But yeah, so that's kind of like, and what we're going to do, so one of the things which are in progress is having this full stack example where you have a UI and you have a program on chain, which would be the DEX that we're working on, the AMM DEX we're working on, and you have the module to interact with the blockchain, so like a wallet module, and have like kind of like this full like traffic tag together. UI plus core module plus blockchain program together. So we have like the blockchain team is working on getting that ready, so you can have like kind of this example that use everything. And we have a couple of sample apps, multisig and atomic swap sample app. We've been updating the multisync app. I need to check. I'm not 100% sure if we have the QML UI for multisig already there. I have to check with the team. Yeah, so today we build the UI within Basecamp. And we try to integrate delivery, but it didn't work quite well. But if you send your ILM on it, I'm sure you can make it work. It just takes a bit more time.
Folks, all of the resources will be in the description of the video immediately following the stream. Thank you to Bitfault for the conversation and the questions. Hope this was useful. You can go back through all of the past devs clubs, which there have been many already, and there will be many more for other live coding and hacking sessions. We are streaming virtually every day of the week. So wherever you're watching now, YouTube, X, or wherever, follow, subscribe, turn notifications on, and make sure you're visiting and bookmarking build.logos.co, press.logos.co. That is where you will stay most up to date with everything, including the events calendar for all of our streams at press.logos.co and all the other events, and go to office hours on Friday where you can pick brains directly of Logos technical core contributors. Doing some final commands in there.
Yeah, I think, I don't think it's going to work.
C'est la vie. But we got close.
C'est la vie, yeah. Yeah. And more documentation and more interaction. And again, I used the stable doc, but I'm pretty sure that if you use everything from Headmasters, things are a bit more, are working a bit more. Like the team is working very hard to, like a lot of development and research is ongoing, which means that things move very fast. So yeah, so we're trying to kind of stabilize things so that we have a better experience developing, but it's still in progress.
Well, thank you for taking us through this, Frank. I consider it a success. The game was built, it shipped. Some delivery snags. They'll be fixed.
Yeah, I would say, sorry to interrupt. I would say call to action is join us on the Discord. And we have like a builder hub, a channel in there. I will try to make it work after lunch, so we can share a working, hopefully, versions. But yeah, there's activity ongoing. People are building stuff. So please go in there and you can see what's building and you can use that as examples. First, second, feel free to follow the repo. I will push that on the repo on my GitHub. My GitHub is Fryer Kraken. I will share that in the chat. So feel free to follow my repo, follow my user, and you see the new repos. Yes, and you can see this one once I pushed it there.
Awesome. Frank, thank you very much for joining, folks. This has been Logos Dev Club for today, April 29th. Join us tomorrow for the next Dev Club, not 12 hours or so from now. So stay tuned. Lots coming at you. Lots will continue to come at you. So follow Logos, visit build.logos and press.logos.co. And check out all the resources there and stay plugged in as things are moving very quickly. Testnet and Alpha for the blockchain and Basecamp app, respectively. But things are moving very quickly, and mainnet will be here before we know it. Here. I will see you bright and early tomorrow. Thanks for being here, everyone.